And he was like, "Can I get you something to drink?" And he was made me laugh out loud.
Hi, welcome everyone.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. You all having a good time? Yeah. Awesome. Welcome to day 3 of RangerStop. Isn't it fantastic? Isn't it great? Yeah, put them together, yeah. See, this is the 3rd day, so spending all this time with the Kiwis that are here from overseas, you just start talking like this and you can't turn it off. You know? Like, hi.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah. This is Wally here. I don't think that Wally knows what his real voice sounds like.
I've never really known.
So,
ever since I was a baby, I came out doing voices.
That's it, guys. And Sam, the wonderful and talented Samantha Newark. Give it up for her, you guys. Gem in the holograms. Totally outrageous. So yeah, thank you guys for being here today. And I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this, I can already tell. And hopefully we can get some voices out there. We can hear some fun stuff, and we can talk about what it's like to be a voice actor. And it's a really neat career that I'm going to pretend I have, but I don't. But I could fake it pretty well, I think, with this stuff. And we're really... Where do you live? I live here in Orlando.
You're in the wrong place.
That's the thing. Yeah, I need to get out of there. But I used to do a...
Where do you live?
I live in Orlando, right here.
Orlando.
Right here locally.
That makes sense.
So I will say one thing about me, though. I have 2 credits to my fame. One was, a long time ago, I was the voice that said, "You're listening to Radio Disney." And it was a long time ago. And
you're the guy I wanted to beat up.
Yeah, you have to, right? It's better than shit. We have a guy in this town, he does a car commercial. His name is R.C. Hill, and every time his commercials come on, I have to change the station because I want to punch him in the face.
I love his soda, though.
Yeah. Oh, that's yeah, R.C. Hill. Yeah, R.C. Cole. Yeah, I got the reference. That's an older.
Ask somebody over 40.
I was going to say, ask your pretty youngins out there. And my other, I wouldn't call it a claim to fame, was there was a radio station in Jacksonville, and we used to have something here called the American Idol Experience. And I voice doubled for Ryan Seacrest with them. I said something like, "You're listening to XL 1067. And they played it, and they gave me $50, and they're probably still playing it, and I should have asked for more money.
Should have added a few more zeros on that. You need a better agent.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's just me, and I'm not anybody. And these 2 are really, really talented and accomplished voice actors.
Yes, clearly we're so popular that we filled the room with people here who are waiting to hear our wisdom.
The acoustics in here are really
I'd like to think some of them are still sleeping it off.
They're lined up out the door to see us. That's how popular we are.
They're still out there. Yeah.
We appreciate you.
Come in, please. Fill the
Oh my
seats.
goodness. Well, I'm glad you guys could join us so early on a Sunday morning. I know that there's a lot of places you could be, and you're here with us. So, Wally, I want to start with you for a minute, if you don't mind.
Oh, ladies first.
Okay. Oh, I love the chivalry. Very cool.
Lovely chivalry is not dead.
It's not dead. It's not dead at all, is it?
I'm
Proper British gentleman always defers to a lady first.
Yes, indeed. Samantha, welcome to RangerStop.
Thank you for
Yeah,
having
it's so
me.
great to have you back here. I was so lucky I got to spend some time in Atlanta with her over the
We
summer.
did so,
RangerStop.
that was really fun.
It was a
And
great
that
panel.
huge stage.
It
and
was
we had like the
Totally outrageous. Yeah.
video screen with
We
a
had it all.
bunch of yeah. That
And now we
was
have a
so
really cool
impressive.
banner behind us, and that's great too, because I feel like we're at a press conference and we're getting traded to Sacramento Kings. But what's really awesome is your career. Can you share with this audience a little bit about it? When did it all start? How did it all start?
Right,
Why did it
yeah.
all start?
Such a bloody long story now.
Oh, I know.
Born in England, you might know that by now with the English things I throw out every once in a while. But yeah, I started singing professionally when I was 8 in Africa. And I made a record and I toured all over Africa, and then I got really scary. We had armed convoys taking us to shows. And my parents were like, "Okay, we're gonna go back to England." And
Were you going to be eaten by lions or something? Was that the danger?
no, well, actually,
That's one of the
it was
things.
crazy. Mugabe was taking over, and it was getting a
Oh, the
little
lions.
I thought it was the
frightening
wild
there,
furry
so
animals with big teeth.
Yeah, we saw those though. Lots of like baboon. In fact, my parents had a game with us when my sister and I were being awful in the car together as little kids. It was called a sponsored silence, and they would give us money if we could find the baboons in the bush, because you could see their eyes. You know, you'd be like, "Baboon!" That was the only time you could speak, is if you saw one. So, but yeah, I started singing out there and came to the States when I was 10. Played the lead in Annie. Almost went to London to play Annie, but I was too tall. It's my first heartbreak in show business, being too tall to play the London Broadway production. But yeah, I've always sung since I was a little kid. And Gem was like this incredible. You know, the business is so nuts. You never know where your good is going to come from. And I've always been a little professional singer, and suddenly I was had an agent, and I was auditioning for all kinds of things, and Jeff was just one of a million auditions that I went on, and then I got the lead, and suddenly I was doing voice work, which was incredible. And I was very acclimated already to a microphone and headphones, recording in the studio as a singer, but I loved it. It is the funnest work. And I love the freedom of it because you can just be an idiot in the studio. Nobody's watching you. It's not, you don't have to worry about your light or and none of that. You just get to play. And whether you're just kind of in a booth doing a commercial copy, it's you and the microphone and you're, performing. I just love it all. Yeah. So it was an incredible thing that just happened, and now I get to sit here with you lovely people all these years later, which is even more amazing. Yeah, so that's a little bit about me.
That's fantastic, Sam. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know Gem and the Holograms always had a special place in my heart because my name is Gemma, and it was kind of like my name.
Yeah.
Gem for short. Yeah, Gem for short.
Oh, I think that deserves a hug. Come up here.
It's totally
Come on,
outrageous.
give Gemma a hug.
Get up here, Gemma.
Come on, Gemma. Gem and Gemma, get this.
There it
Get a
is.
hug.
There
There we
it
go. Yay!
There we go. It's boom time, guys. It's
I know she
fantastic.
wanted to do that.
I love it.
She's such a sparkly mermaid today.
She is. She's always sparkly, but today she's a mermaid
Oh, yeah, look at your
too.
pants.
I'm
They're
always,
mermaid.
I'm
Look at
always
those sparkly mermaid pants.
I can
This is
tell you-
Gene Oberlin.
I can tell you're a singer. You know why? Because your pants have scales. But I'm bummed. Anyway.
Oh. He'll be here all weekend, folks. Try the veil.
No, I'm a mermaid every day, and actually, that's like my business. I'm a professional mermaid performer, and I actually go by Mermaid Gem. So it's kind of like
Wow.
my name, but like not, and like it's kind of
It's totally
inspired by
outrageous.
you a little bit.
Do you know why mermaids wear seashells?
Oh, God.
Because she outgrew her bee shells.
That's pretty funny.
That's clean for a
I like how I like as soon as you start talking, I scan the audience. To see who's out there. I'm like, okay.
You get to the kids and the
Okay,
kids.
I don't need to
Okay,
mute you.
okay, it's good, okay.
I just want to say it's really fun. I'm sure you've experienced this too with the projects you've done. How the cartoon will morph into all of these different mediums and the different ways of honoring your characters, like Gem Mermaid and Gem
That's so cool, right?
Steampunk and like all
Gen
these.
Transformer.
Gem, yeah. Have you seen that? I've seen like cosplay Transformers turn it with the earrings and.
Was that Deke,
Wow.
Deke Studios that did?
No, it was
Deke.
Sunbow.
Oh, some
Sunbow, and now it's
I don't know how to say
Hasbro. And now
Sunbow.
Power Rangers is Hasbro.
Oh, yeah,
So
Power
they're all
Rangers,
part of
yeah.
the same
What's-
Hasbro family.
What's Power Rangers?
Oh my God, they're really loud.
And they
And
really,
they kick really high.
they are really
And
loud.
I'm kind of scared of
They
some
are
of
actually,
them,
yeah.
but they're all really amazing.
I can tell you who the scary ones are. Yeah. No, it's a good group of people, you guys. Now, Wally, you just look like a guy who is a good voice actor. You just know you have a.
Yes, I have a face made for voiceover. Thank you. You can say it. You can say it. I've heard it before. I get it.
My question is actually for Adam West. So if you could.
Oh, yes, good citizen. It's nice to be here this Sunday morning. What is your question, you foul fiend?
Well, let me tell you this, Batman, my fine feathered face. Burgess Meredith.
Good gracious, it's the penguin! Robin, quick, get the anti-penguin bat spray.
Holy Toledo, Batman.
Wow, you're a good Robin too.
Oh, I like Robin. I like Victor.
I'll be Batman, you be everybody else.
But you have to be the Riddler.
Alfred! Oh, thank you, thank you.
It's the
Alfred, could you polish my shoes and dust the study while Aunt Harriet is at the hairdresser?
Yes,
I'll
of
be
course,
in the...
Master Bruce.
There we go. What's that?
Yes, of course, Master Bruce.
Oh, we have our Alfred. We have the entire Batman cast here. This is fantastic. Boom! Who wants to be Aunt Harriet? No one.
Merciful heavens.
Yeah, merciful heaven.
This has turned into the Batman 66 panel. This is the we didn't sleep overnight.
boys went fishing again. Oh, dear.
I love that. Gee whiz, Aunt Harriet.
Did you see the golly gee whiz, Aunt Harriet? Did you see the Batman animated films that Adam West did before he passed away?
Yeah, the way you played the Riddler.
Yeah, exactly. Lynn Marie Stewart played Aunt Harriet. Do you know who Lynn Marie Stewart is? She's the most beautiful woman in Puppetland. She's Miss Yvonne! Miss Yvonne did Aunt Harriet for the movies, and she was fantastic.
She really liked it. Those movies were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
One thing I love about that is it was the first time we finally got to see William Shatner and Adam West together, even if we didn't see it. You know,
Thank God
even
for
if they
that.
didn't even meet.
Thank God for that. Oh, they did a pilot together called Alexander before Batman and before Star Trek,
Wow.
where William Shatner was Alexander the Great and Adam West played the head of his military. And you can find it on eBay. It's a bootleg, but it's called Alexander. And it's a pilot that was supposed to go to series with Shatner and Adam together. But then they went their own separate ways, and it was a lot of fun. You know,
That had to have some of the finest acting in Hollywood.
well, I always joke about the fact that in 1968, after both Star Trek and Batman were canceled, they were both looking for work, and they were both similar types of actors, so they would probably be at auditions together competing for the same role, and I think that conversation would be fantastic to have. Why, hello, Bill, my old friend. What have you been up to?
I've been gallivanting around the galaxy, saving the universe from Klingons, and you, Adam, what have you been up to?
I've been gallivanting around Gotham City, saving the citizens from the likes of the Joker and Catwoman. Well, you know they dated. Adam,
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Adam
sorry.
Joker.
Yeah,
Oh,
Adam,
Adam Shatner.
they had a love child. Yeah, Adam and Shatner dated. They had a love child. Patrick Warburton. Go national. Go like a pro. That's it.
He's pretty great, yeah. I like him on the field. Like, hey, Peter, you got a screwdriver I can borrow.
Peter.
Yeah.
Hey, Peter.
That's it.
Wally, where are you based out of?
Parts unknown. Parts unknown.
I am a man without a home. No, I'm Studio City.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, Los Angeles.
You can play the baboon game there, too.
Yes, the types of baboons there you don't want to talk to or touch because they bite.
Did you ever work at Wally Burr?
Wally Burr was my first voiceover coach.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wally.
And I knew Christine, his wife, very well.
Yeah.
She was one of my first agents. And of course, Wally has passed away since.
Yeah.
But
Do you know Arlene Thornton?
I've met her, never been represented by her. But it's a small,
Yeah.
very small,
It's a very
incestuous
small
world.
It
Yep.
is. Yeah.
Everybody knows everybody.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah.
Well, you need to get out of Orlando.
Man,
You need
that's-
to-
I
This weather's so
say that
beautiful,
every
so
day.
beautiful here. I would just.
Well, you're here the 2 days this year that it's been nice. I promise you. It's
Oh,
hot,
well,
it's humid,
no.
it's not that great, but it's still a fun place, so. But yeah, do you guys have any questions for our panel of experts?
Put our mermaid to
Or
work,
these
please.
three.
Our mermaid is workless. She needs to have.
She needs a consistent job here. Yeah, there you go.
Ladies
Do
first.
you want to line up over here, or do we just want
Nah, we just pass it
No,
around.
let the mermaid
Yeah.
swim over to you and
There we go.
All right.
Who wants?
Ladies first. Ladies first. Ladies
Okay.
first.
Oh, I like that Hello Kitty tattoo.
Oh, thank you.
It's cool.
For Samantha, you only did the talking voice for Jerica and Jen.
Right.
And how come you didn't do the singing voice?
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. They did a lot of the trickery of that in the 80s, but when I auditioned for it, my agent said it was for a rock singer, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect, it's amazing. And I still have my sides, which are your audition sides that you're actually not supposed to take, but I took them. And I have on there, I must ask Arlene about doing the singing voice. And what I came to find out was that the singing was a huge machine in New York that had already been cast. And then they came to LA to hunt for the voice actors to match the speaking voices to the singing counterparts. So there were a few of us in the cast that actually sang, but obviously it was already cast, so yeah. But it was so seamless. You guys, when you were little, had no idea.
Plus, Screen Actors Guild rules are that if you sing, if you're doing a voiceover and you sing, there's a huge bump in pay.
Yeah.
If you sing just a couple of things, there's a huge bump, so maybe they didn't want to have to.
But they had to actually, they had to pay me for 2 characters. Because which was
Well, Screen Actors
amazing.
Guild, you're allowed 3 characters, so you're
Yeah.
under the thing, they have to bump you over the 3rd.
Yeah.
But singing is a huge bump, so for
Yeah.
example, if I was doing Family Guy, and then Peter Criss and Seth was Ace Frehley, and we said, hey, now's our chance, so we get out, and then Harvey Bowl, is that the guy, Chattanooga, choo-choo, bop. We got a bump for that, we get a bump for every time we
That's
sang
amazing.
on anything, so
Yeah.
that might have had something to do with the twos,
It
and maybe
might
the New
have,
York
yeah. And
singer
it's before
was cheaper or
MP3s
something.
and-
I didn't want to give the bump.
Yeah, because this show apparently had a lot more money than I realized, because it was a live orchestra.
Because you weren't seeing it.
Yeah, but I mean, they brought in real players, and and on the days of 3-inch to 2-inch tape, analog
Oh,
world, not
sure.
flying files across the country like you guys.
Have you ever
Do
done
now.
for them?
I have, yeah. There's an actual convention called Gen Con. It's been going now for 13 or 14 years. It's in a different city every year.
I know.
Oh, you know about it, yeah. And so slowly they've brought all the cast together for different ones, and it's been incredible. It's just been so much fun. So, but I actually emailed Britta in 2003 because I had Googled Gem and the Holograms one day when the internet was still kind of new, and I couldn't believe all the Gem stuff that came up, all the web rings and email lists and all this stuff. And so I emailed her. I found her email, and I was like, hey. I thought we should say hi.
My friend Athena, when is Jim for Halloween this year?
She did?
I have to get a picture from you.
Oh, that's so fun. Yeah, they had a new spirit Halloween costume or
Yeah, there was
Party
a new-
City.
oh, yeah, yeah.
They had a Halloween. Yeah, it was so fun.
Yeah, no, I was so sad I missed last Gen Con because it was in Cleveland where I live.
Right down the road.
But I had a mermaid job.
Oh my gosh.
What Gen Con?
Yeah, because Jem was a part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I
last
know, I
year.
did go see that. I was
Yeah, it was incredible how music impacted Saturday morning cartoons, and we got to go and speak at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We were
That's
up there with like
amazing.
Madonna, and it was crazy.
We deserve it.
It was very cool.
It's really neat.
Yeah.
It's just something you
The
don't expect
reach,
when you're doing
yeah,
that.
you don't realize how it was kind of ahead of its time.
Well, I'm a lot older than you, but music and cartoons in my day were the Archies, the Groovy
Oh,
Ghoulies.
yeah.
Josie and the Pussycats.
Josie and the Pussycats,
Yeah.
you're right, yeah. Loved the Groovy Ghoulies. It was everything I was into, monsters, animation, and rock and roll. And here's these monsters playing rock and roll. I'm like, I like this. I like it.
It's awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really amazing the legacy. Like when you look at the Rock Hall, like all the people like that are in there, and then like they had it was the Rock on TV exhibit, and they had all the people like influencing, you know, rock music on television, and Jem being there was just like.
That's,
It was
And the
just-
banana
shows
splits,
how
the
much of an
banana
impact it
splits.
made.
yeah, yeah.
That's when I first came to America. That was what I turned on the telly.
Yeah.
It was just still very,
Oh,
very
yeah.
English, and I was like, what is this American craziness? That was, yeah. I remember that.
And they wonder why I grew up so strange.
That and Dark
The
Shadows.
TV, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, the original Dark
Oh,
Shadows.
really. It was a night unlike any before. I was at Collins Grove, and there she was, the very likeness of Josette. I love Dark Shadows.
It kind of freaked me out.
Never seen it.
It was good.
Next question.
Thanks for your question.
Holy voice acting.
Hey, what's up, guys? So,
This
Sam
guy.
knows I got to interview a few years back before Wally passed away. I got to interview him on my radio show. And he's a legendary voice director since the Hanna-Barbera, since the 60s. He's done 70s cartoons, 80s, and 90s. Basically all the cartoons that everyone here is probably going to be watching. During the interview, I asked him, you know, you've done everything, Transformers, Inspector Gadget, Scooby-Doo, Jen, G.I. Joe, et cetera, and I asked him, what's your favorite, you've had like 3 or 4 decades under your belt, what's your favorite show you've ever worked on? And he said, Jen.
I
Kevin
never
Holograms.
knew
I was
that.
surprised because he's, you know,
Because he's done
he's
every-
hardcore military.
He was the-
He's a tough dude.
Tough guy, yeah.
Tough guy, you know, mouth of a trucker. I think he was a Marine, I forget, but I know, you know, he's like this gruff, tough guy. And then when he says Gemini Holograms, I said, really? I was like, why? And he was like, because it was possibly the most realistic and relatable series I ever worked
That's
on.
so true. God, I never knew he said that because we were always encouraged to do real reads. He didn't want cartooning, although the show is like crazy, campy, and ridiculous. But he always said we want the little kids to think of you as their friends, their older sisters, and so it was always a very real read.
Yeah.
And he was always incredibly kind. I remember going to do the sessions, and some of the voice actors were like, oh my God, we're still here. But I'd never done a series before, so to me, it just was normal. But hindsight, I've been told, he was like a taskmaster.
That
you
was
know?
my question, actually. The one question was
Yeah.
going to be, how was it for you to work with him? If
For
you
me, it was a
remember.
joy. I mean, he was incredibly kind, and you know, I didn't know anything different, so I never experienced anything crazy or frustrating with him at all. He was incredibly kind and patient and wonderful, and just let me fly and trusted me to be the lead in this show. So for me, it was amazing. But I'm so curious to hear.
He was a great coach. He had an 8-week course, and every week would be some different aspect of voiceover. 1 week it would be promo, 1 week it would be looping, dubbing, 1 week it would be animation, 1 week it would be. But he was great. He told me a very funny story about when he was working on Inspector Gadget with Don Adams and Frank Welker. Frank Welker, Dr. Claw. You remember that, yeah. So Don Adams would come in at the beginning of the day, and he would be talking like this, you know, and doing his Don Adams. He said by the end of the day, the entire cast was talking like this. It was very infectious. He said, no, don't do Don Adams. Don't do Inspector Gadget. I want you to do your own character. It's pretty funny, yeah. Well, I can see how that kind of voice would be infectious, you know, it would catch on. Everybody would be talking like this by the end of the day.
Missed it by that much.
Thank you.
I love Inspector Gadget. That's
That's cool.
I think that's good. Oh, who's next? We got, Jim is getting the mic
Oh,
back. Very cool.
yeah, retrieving the mic.
Guys, that's so cool. You were talking about how when you were doing the show, it's like people were in the booth, they're like, oh man, we're still here, we're still here. I realize I'm on the outside, but I feel like if you're working, you should be happy that you're working, right? It's such a great
That's
career,
how
right?
I
You know,
felt. I was
it's
like,
such a neat thing.
I landed with my bun and butter, as my dad would say. Just
I got to meet-
just to be there, to be working.
I met Harry Shearer once, and I imagine having for over 30 years a career where you did almost nothing, and you could phone in your lines to The Simpsons and make millions of dollars.
Stupid.
People might not even really know what you look like if you don't, get out there a lot.
Yeah, well,
That's
Harry
kind of-
was also on camera. He was on
Well,
Saturday
Harry was on
Night
SNL,
and Spinal
yeah.
Tap and everything. So, but
it's
yeah, there
easier
are
to
like who
disguise
knows what
yourself.
Dan
Dan
Kessler
Kessler,
looks like?
yeah.
Nobody. Which is kind of great.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I prefer to do voiceover and not on camera. Everybody's like, oh, don't you want to do on camera? I'm like, why would I? This is the funnest job in the
There
world.
goes your privacy. Yeah.
Occasionally I do, and I have done it, and I did a Dell commercial about 3 years ago as a glam rocker, and that was kind of fun, because the director was the director of Napoleon Dynamite, so that was pretty cool, Jared Hess. But other than that, I prefer just to not do any of that stuff, because I don't want to have stuff slathered all over my face and my hair pulled and sprayed and teased, and it's kind of annoying.
There's no makeup chair behind the mic, is there?
Nope. You walk in a tank top and shorts and sandals, and you say, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to read? And it's great. When I was on The Tonight Show for 4 years, I specifically said, because everybody wanted to be on The Tonight Show on camera.
What did you do on the Tonight Show?
I was the announcer.
Oh my God.
It's The Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
That's
Welcome. So that was, thank you, you 4 people who watched the show.
I watched
Was a great job. They said, because everybody who gets in there said, hey, can I be in some bits? Can I be in, blah, blah, blah? And I never said that. And they said, do you want to be in some bits? I'm like, nope.
You want the end of it?
I love going to the grocery store and not being bothered, and I can buy my groceries, and I don't have to be
And
hassled.
you've already been paid as an actor, so you're doing
Exactly,
okay. Yeah.
exactly. And I'm acting, I'm doing what I love, and I don't have to do any of that stuff, because I have friends who are on camera people. My friend Dan, my friend Bridget, they're all well-known on-camera people. And I see when I'm with them walking around that people will come up and say, hey, how's it going? I know you, brother. And I'm like, I'll be over here, browsing the magazine section.
Or it's worse when you're in the store and you're like, and they don't say anything.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm real. Yeah, so voice actors don't, for the most part, have to worry about that.
That's good, yeah.
Kind of
And
one
on
of
camera,
the
it's all
charms.
hurry up and wait too.
Oh, my
Like you sit in
goodness.
makeup for like 6-9 hours,
And it's
You're
like,
like,
yeah.
okay, now I'm gonna recapture the vibe, but voiceover, I mean, you're up and running, you're in and out.
You go, you do your session. and you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. it's
You
great.
show up to the studio, you sign your paperwork, you have your bagel, you get some orange juice, you get your water, you go into the
Your
studio,
coffee.
and it's fun for 4 hours, especially ensemble reads.
I was about to ask
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you did a lot of table reads versus individual work, because I know sometimes you gotta go in by yourself to the booth and react to people who aren't there, but it's always preferable to have a whole cast together, I would imagine.
It is. Family Guy, Garfield show, Adventures of Mightiest Heroes, those kind of shows would be ensemble cast.
I know Seth loves to have the whole gang together.
Well, he did, but now
Yeah,
he's
when he
he's
could.
phoning it in.
He's
so
got the
it's-
Orville, he's got
Yeah,
that going.
now it's down to one person, and it's not as fun as it was with Seth and Seth Green and Patrick Bristow and me and a couple of the other guys, and just sitting in a semicircle singing as trees in a forest, Cats in the Cradle, if you remember that one. But there are video games, for example, they have just your lines isolated, where I'll just go in for 4 hours, just read all the Riddler stuff, and then they integrate it into the thing later through the magic of post-production. But then it's incumbent upon the director to have a overall idea of how this puzzle is eventually going to fit together. Because you don't have the group together, you're only dealing with the individuals, you have to have a really good sense of how this is all going to fit together. Because you don't want to have one guy come in one day and record a line, and then have the guy coming in 3 days later record the line after it, and sound like you're not in the same room together, exactly. So that's why it's incumbent upon really good voice directors, like Amanda Wyatt and people like that, to have the overall sense of that. Also, the anime stuff you're only doing when you're dubbing Japanese cartoons like Bleach and Naruto. So that's all one person at a time too, and then the next one. So everybody's like, "Hi, how was it like working with Johnny Young Bosch all those years on Bleach?" I'm like, I don't know.
Never met him.
Never met him. Yeah. I met him at a convention.
Never
At
met him
SAC
on
Anime.
set.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Even though we fought for 4 seasons on Bleach each other, but never met him. So it's pretty cool.
That's good editing, that.
That's great editing.
Yeah.
That's the bulk of the voiceover world, especially like commercials, because people, often they're like, well, what did you do after Jen? You kind of disappeared, but I was like, I did a ton of commercials.
Yeah.
You know, I was the bank lady.
Your
and
voice
then-
is out there.
Yeah, you're doing a ton of stuff, but it's you in a studio with coffee by yourself and the ad executives maybe and the producers and behind the thing, and yeah, just you and this little script.
Or the magic of what's called ISDN, which is a high-quality phone line. They're abandoning that now because it's expensive in favor of Skype, high-quality Skype.
So you can literally phone it in now.
You can
Phone
literally
match.
phone it in. I've been
Yeah.
to sessions where you just go to a studio that has ISDN and it's just you and the director, and you're on ISDN line with somebody in Chicago or New York or San Francisco, and they're directing you over the thing. You never meet these people. I have agents in San Francisco I have never met. And they've been booking me literally for 10 years on stuff. I've
Wow.
never met them, and I'm like, I should fly up there when they take them to dinner. or
Just,
something.
yeah, thanks for the career, you know.
So sometimes,
Yeah.
unlike what Samantha said, you don't even have them in the room. They're miles away, and you're like, what's the weather like over there? Well, it's the 2 good days in Orlando that we've had so far. And, well, in LA, it's sunny and hot again.
Yeah, it's really odd, and then suddenly they're like, all right, we got what we wanted, it's great, and you're like, okay,
Hey,
nice
that was good.
to kind
And
of meet you.
that weirds me out. I never know. Did I?
Did
Did
you
I
really
want
know?
them?
Which
Are
one did they like?
they-
They took the
It's-
second take of
yeah.
putting.
Yes, exactly.
It's very
Sometimes I
impersonal.
like when they make me do 100 takes, because then I
Yeah.
know they really got variety where they went.
I really-
What
Yeah.
do you do it after 3 takes? Like, yeah, we got it.
We
I'm
got
like,
it, we're good.
Which one?
I'm sure did they
Am I
just
really
do
that
it?
brilliant?
Yeah.
Are they,
It's,
okay.
you're just that good. Yeah.
Let's wait till the
The,
commercial comes out and see if it's me.
I remember you were talking about video games a minute ago, as the rhythm and so on. I talked to Kevin Conroy at a convention once.
Oh, yeah?
And he
Yes,
said-
what did Kevin say?
He said one of the hardest things for him was they would do the table reads for Batman the Animated Series, and that was fantastic. But he said that he had to spend 4 hours saying, I need to get to the control room, or I need to find a way to the Batmobile, or whatever he says in the game. And they're like, we need it 6 more times. But he would read it exactly the same every time. They're like, good, now do this. And he'd do it exactly the same. And they're like, that's the one. I'm like,
Oh my God.
Well, there's a thing
the
in
levels, everything, you know.
Exactly. There's a thing in voiceover where they say, okay, do line 26 ABC. And ABC means do it 3 times. But the 3 times you do it have to be different. You have to give them a variety. So I'm going to go to the car. I'm going to go to the car. I'm going to go to the car. So, and then you let them pick it later and figure out which one slides in. But some people go in and they go, okay, give me line 26 ABC. I'm going to go to the car. I'm going to go to the car. I'm going to go to the car. There's no variety there. So when you do the ABC, you have to give them variety, give them something different.
It's weird. I remember that as Reading It Wild. I've not heard it called ABC. See, things change so fast.
Oh, well,
But
no,
they-
it's when you do the 3 takes of each
3
line, that's
takes.
the ABCs, yeah.
Okay, 'cause, yeah, back in the day, they would be like, okay, give us 3 wild lines.
3 wild, right.
Right, so you do.
But I'm so nuts, sometimes I do it, I go into like L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V.
And they're like, okay.
And I literally have to say, I can do this all day, stop me when you've had enough. And I'm like, I'm gonna go to the car, I'm gonna go to the car, I'm gonna go to the car, I'm gonna go. And you hear the guys on the ice stand going, stop!
You're nothing if not provided for the team.
I like variety.
Absolutely. Oh man, that's great. Are there any other questions in the audience out there? It's been a minute since we've gone out that way. Here you go. Oh, right there. No, I can just see the lights. There's people like
You're next though, I promise.
Yeah.
Nerdy chic.
Wally, out of all your voiceover, which is your favorite?
Oh boy. Well, I had the best time on the Tonight Show because we taped at 4 o'clock, and I would do video games or commercials or cartoons in the morning, and then at 3 o'clock I knew I had to be at NBC to do the run through at 3:30 of the opening, and then we taped live to tape at 4. So it was like you'd work all day, and then it was like going in the later afternoon to hang out with friends and family. We were all very close. We all loved each other. Jay Leno is one of the most dearest human beings on the planet Earth. I loved working for him. He had a hard, fast rule that we taped from 4 till 5:15. I want everybody home with their families by 5:30 to enjoy the evening. And he didn't keep people late unless we had the president on the show or something. Then of course we had to go by his schedule. But he was the greatest guy to work for. And I know you've heard stories about how other late night hosts sometimes behave off camera, and from what I hear, they're all true. But Jay is the kind of guy to where this was one day, I think her name was, what was her name? Val. Her name was Val. She was one of the PAs on the show. And she was kind of a motorhead. She had a motorcycle. And he said, this is Jay Leno, $30 million a year man, saying to Val, hey, I got a new Kawasaki 4QX. You want to come out and take a spin? He let the PA like drive around the lot just because he knew that she was into that kind of stuff. He didn't have to do that, but he did that. And he was just so he probably The Tonight Show, because I was only the 7th full-time announcer on The Tonight Show in Tonight Show history. And I'll probably be the only one to ever do it strictly as voiceover.
Yeah,
That you never see me. I consider myself the Don Pardo from Saturday Night Live of The Tonight Show. And I never wanted to be seen, I just wanted to do voices. I would do character voices and comedy bits and all kinds of stuff, and it was fun. I never saw me on camera. I saw my hands at one point when they had me cut in doing something with the hand. But other than that, it was strictly voiceover, but it was just so much fun. And the day, the show ended and went to, New York with Jimmy Fallon. It was bittersweet, but it was like, wow, this was an amazing 4 years. But I would have loved to have seen it go on for another 20 years. But that was probably. But I also love the Garfield show because that amazing cast of characters of Frank Welker, Greg Berger, Jason Marsden, Audrey Russell. How do you go wrong with that? And the Riddler. I love the Riddler. I love this guy. He's so I turn into the Riddler in LA traffic. Yeah. I'm John Arbuckle with my pets at home. Hey, okay, I'll be home soon. Okay, Daddy, I'll be home soon. Okay. Okay, Roxy, don't eat Spook's food now. I'll be home. Okay, pretty soon. Hey, you fool! I should run you over now. Get out of the traffic. Get off the road, you snake. So it's kind of funny how your personality changes so much. But that's why I auditioned with that voice as John Arbuckle. Because I'm like, what would this guy sound like? He's just kind of a plain guy. Okay, I'm just gonna talk like I talk to my own pets, my own cat and dog. And it seemed to work. Jim Davis liked it, so I got the job. So that was pretty good. And he's hard because animals respond. You have pets? Yeah. You have pets? Yeah. They respond to that musicality in your voice.
Yeah, the tone of voice. They know what's going on.
And I figured that animals don't like minor keys, they like major keys.
They're so happy.
That's right, because if you talk like this, you're all talking in a major key and all that. And if you do this, then and you're hitting those flat notes and those sharps, they're like, uh-oh, what happened? So they respond to that musicality of the voice. So I'm like, well, that's probably. So I go, hey, Garfield, you want to go for a picnic? And then you go, Garfield, you ate the turkey again, didn't you? There's those flat notes, and they're like, oh, well, like Garfield.
Yeah, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, I did. What are you going to do about it? Thank you, Alfred the Butler. Thank you, Alfred.
Oh my gosh, guys. This has been a great time, and I hope we still have some time, because we're going to keep it rolling right over here.
Yeah, I think it's people in.
Yeah, take as long as you want. I love this.
With the live action versions of the older cartoons like Riverdale on CW, and also Gypsy and the Pussycats getting their movie back in the early 2000s, what were your thoughts on those when they first being put into live action? What I meant was, what did you think about how they turned the cartoon into live action movies? That's what I meant.
Well, I had my own crazy experience of that with Jam. The fans have been waiting like 900 years for a reboot. And, at the time, obviously, you want to support it because it's the brand coming back and you don't know what they're going to do with it. So you are kind of celebrating the idea of a property that you love coming back. At least I was excited because it's been so long and the fans were excited. But then, when they don't stick, they may have the best intentions or not, but they don't stick to the source material enough to capture the hearts of the original fans that loved it, then I think it's a mistake. I think you really have to, I think, sometimes they want to deviate so back because they don't want to recreate, they don't want to try and recreate it, but, those certain beautiful things about a property, it should be in there, and a lot of the time it's not. It's frustrating for the fans. And when we watched I remember when William Shatner was tweeting, what? No synergy? No Gemstar earrings?
I remember that in Atlanta, he was like,
really
Shatner knows what's going on here?
Yeah.
He's watching the show.
Yeah, and he was tweeting about it.
He's Captain Kirk, he knows
train's
everything.
going over the hill.
That's Hollywood.
I love Jem and the holograms. That's my favorite show. She's hot.
So that's,
You know what's
that's
crazy?
younger. Old Bill's kind of down here.
Yeah, old Bill is, yeah.
I have an experience
Oh,
with the
understand.
younger Bill. When I was young, I was like 11.
A lot of women do.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, go on.
And Jay Leno, too. I used to do these crazy shows for the LAPD Police Department at the Shrine Auditorium.
Here for law enforcement, our friends in law enforcement.
Yes.
Hey, thank you, thank you.
And they would have these huge benefits, and Jay Leno would often MC, and William Shatner's introduced me a bunch of times. It's like, oh, we have an 11-year-old from England!
Wow,
and
yeah.
I'd sing with the Ray Anthony Orchestra and stuff. But I tried to chat with him once about that, but he got on his phone. He was not interested. I was like, oh, I have this thing. And we're in the green room
You have
together.
this one-
We've
yeah,
come
it's-
full circle. This is
It's
so
not like
nice.
you're, yeah.
You thought it was his phone. It was his communicator. He was talking
It
to shit.
was. He was
He's
about
still
to beam
constantly
up.
friends.
Yeah.
There was, I saw an interview, I'm not gonna rag on Bill very long, but it was really funny. In the same sentence,
Scotty.
Scotty, I've got a gem down here. I'm doing a quick interview and have Scotty beat me up. Thank you.
there was a time I saw Shatner. I know the word. I don't want to digress too much, but he said in one sentence he was talking about George Takei having his own ship in Star Trek VI, and he's like, he knows it's all pretend, right? It's just spaceships. And then the very next sentence he said, I don't know why he wouldn't want to be on my ship. Like, which is it, Bill? Which is it? You know, it's like, well, we can't have two ships. We've got the Enterprise.
That's what's great about Shatner and Adam is they both had such a dry, well, Shatner's still alive, but they both have such a dry sense of humor. You really never knew when.
What was a joke or what was a jam?
Right,
What was it?
and that was what makes him so great on Family Guy. Adam is that he was so dry. Like he goes up to, well, they're auditioning for the choir and he sings, "You gotta have faith, faith, faith," and then he walks off and he looks, "You know where to find me." Someone's stealing my water. When it's going down the drain. But they were great at that. And I would see Adam at shows, and I knew him for 37 years, but I would see these nervous fans lined up, and I'd be hanging out with him, and the fan would come up, "Oh, hi, Mr. West," and he'd just look at me and go, "You again?" And it was a total joke, but the fan would go, oh. I'm like, "Someone kidding, he's just kidding." Yeah. Funny.
Very similar to British humor. They like to
Very
take,
dry.
as they say, we like to take the piss out of people. And it's, you know, and it's culturally, you know, the Americans often don't realize. It's like, no, I'm just taking the piss out of you. It's English.
It's crazy, guys. Are there any other questions out there before we wrap up? Which I don't want to do, but because we have such a great group here. Psycho Red is out there. Psycho Red.
Yeah, thanks. So my question is for Wally. So when you when you start on like Power Rangers in space.
What's your name?
Christian.
I see you're filming.
Yeah.
Yes, Christian. What would you like to know?
So when you voiced Psycho Blue on Power Rangers in space.
Yes,
like,
Christian.
Yeah. Did you consider it like just like any other role, like because you only voiced Psycho Blue for only like a couple of episodes? So like,
Correct,
did you
Christian.
just consider it like just another job, and then you would move on to the next thing, or did you like actually have a lot of fun with it being like an evil ranger?
Well, I like the villains more, obviously, than the heroes. I've been Ant-Man, and I've been a bunch of other people, Green Lantern, but I loved Riddler, I loved the Psychos, and all that kind of stuff. That was fairly early on in my voiceover thing. I'd only been in voiceover about 2 years at the time, but I was starting to collect up parts in different franchises. I was in Transformers, I was in Care Bear and the Talking Toy, and I was like, wow, I'm now part of the Power Rangers franchise, so this is pretty cool. And then they said, oh no, he gets killed off in about 4 episodes. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. So initially it was that in the infancy of my voiceover career, I was like, yeah, it's just another job, I'm gonna move on to something else now. But later when I saw, they had asked me to do these shows a couple years back, and I'm like, nobody's really going to care about this character. It was only on for like a week and a half or something. Oh, no, the fans are really into it. I'm like, yeah, I don't really know. It's probably not for me. But then I started seeing guys in their costumes, and like Christian's here. Christian's costume, very nicely done. Did you do that? Very nice, very nice. Where's your helmet? I saw your helmet earlier. It's very nice. Oh, here we go. Christian's...
Just like first gotta put this on.
All right. Oh, wow. How do you see through that thing? Very nice. Wow! Celebrate! See, I'm a nerd too. I used to dress up as Darth Vader and all kinds of characters when I was a kid, so I love this kind of stuff. And I can really, really, truly respect it, and I love that, geek is chic now. I think it's really terrific. But yeah, now once all the franchises started coming into my life, I was like, wow, and this and this and this and that. And then the import started to hit. And then when action figures came out of the Psychos, I'm like, all right, well, maybe they were right all along. Maybe there's something to this. Now they have lightning fingers, Psycho Blue, and all
Yeah,
these
that blue one's
things.
really cool. I got it the other
Yeah,
day.
yeah. So then I said, all right, well, and then they got the other guys, and I said, well, now it makes sense to do this because you have the rest, well, most of the rest of them, and the toys are out. Okay, yeah, and I'm glad I did because I got to meet all you nice people. So, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming, by the way.
Oh,
I'm
thank
really
you.
glad you guys are both here this weekend. We do have a few more minutes if anybody's got another question. That's great. Otherwise, I'm sure we can keep talking or
Yeah.
get these guys to do some voices. Right here.
What time do we have to end?
12:30. It's
Yeah, we have like
12.
Oh,
15 minutes.
it's only 12:16. Yeah, lots
I
of time.
honestly felt like it was going by faster. That's not a shot at you. I
I
love it. It's such a great
It seems like it's going on forever. I know.
Can you talk about some of the differences between dubbing and doing animation or doing voices for animation that comes later?
Yes, actually, yeah. Who wants to go first on that? I get it. Like if you're dubbing an anime, you have to kind of match the lines.
It's a whole different process, but that's how we're trained, is to do that, which is why the TV actors often fail so miserably at this. When you're looping, for example, Bleach, or Zatch Bell or Naruto or one of those cartoons, the cartoon's already been done in Japan. So what they'll do, the writers will isolate via time code. There's a time code that runs underneath the picture at all times, telling you where in the process it is. And they will isolate the time code. Okay, Renji's line starts at 0302.11, and it goes to 0302.19. So you know you have 8 seconds to say a specific thing. And you look at what's called the flaps, the lip flaps. Now, I think they make them kind of intentionally ambiguous, so they know that it will be dubbed later. So the writer, it's incumbent upon them to read the subtitle or know what the character is saying for that particular line, and then translate it in English to capture the same meaning, but fit within the flaps. You can't have something that goes like that and have 20 words because it only says, so you have to sometimes say, get lost, loser, that kind of thing, and then that's the meaning of the thing. So that's why sometimes the subs versus the dubs, the subtitles versus the American dub, will be a little bit different. A show called Tiger and Bunny, which I'm very proud of, was a great 26-episode arc. It was about these two superheroes. I don't know if you've ever seen the show, but you should get it. It's 26 episodes, and it's done full arc. It's about these two superheroes. One's kind of a little older, he's kind of at the end of his career, and the other one is just kind of the new up-and-coming hot one, and they team them together. The idea in this show is that people really do have these powers. They're called nexts, the next generation of kind of almost like mutants. But they get these superpowers, and they get these costumes, and they find sponsors. So if you've seen any of these characters with the armor, they got like SoftBank and all these, figure arts and all these things. It's like race car drivers, so they have all the patches of all the sponsors. And then there's a bunch of blimps that fly over town with these cameras, and when the superhero is called into action and you go apprehend the criminal, you're given points for apprehending. So at the end of the season, it's a TV show. They televise all this. It's brilliant. So at the end, they have who got the most points, who's the hero of the year, and they tally up all the points. It's like a reality show. It's fantastic. So it's very big in Japan, but it came over here, and they said, well, we want to Americanize it quite a bit, so we want to have a little more fun with it. So that was one of those rare instances to where if you're wearing a helmet as a character, you don't really see the flaps, that you could just kind of go. And there were some lines that were very staunch, but not kind of fun American. So they said, well, we want you to bring some improvisation to it if you want to. I said, this would be great. So, for example, one where Tiger is on top of the car, and he pops his head down on the villain's car, and he says, pull over right now, or I'm going to arrest you. And that was the Japanese version. But the American version, I just said, can I just try? We would do one as written. And then the next one, we'd improv and do some other stuff. Just in case the editor, once they're ready, said, yeah, let's go with the alternate. And it just pops his head down and says, morning, sunshine! And that was because that was kind of his character, it's kind of aloof. And then there was a particular scene, and I was very happy when we watched it at my house, because we watched all 26 episodes over the course of 26 Saturdays at my movie night. There was one where there were these robots on a bridge, and all these robots had these machine gun turrets on top of them, shooting everything up, and Tiger's like bouncing around, and he gets on top of one and rips off one of the machine guns off the top of the robot. And the line was, I don't normally approve of firearms, but in this case, I think we should do it. I'm like, that's not gonna play over here. So I said, let me do something. So he picks up the gun, and before he starts firing, I just said, say hello to my little friend! And that's the one they kept in the dub. And apparently, from what I hear, is the Japanese like the American dub so much that it's almost as popular as their original Japanese version of it. So, but that's, like I said, one actor in the studio, and there's an ADR beep in order for you to get the rhythm of the line, because they'll back up to where your line happens, and to give you the rhythm, there'll be a little beat that goes beep, beep, beep. Say hello to my little friend, and you of course, the helmet's on, you don't have to worry about the lip flaps. And then if you don't do it right, if it doesn't fit in the flaps, you go back and beep, 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 and then on the fourth beep, the imaginary fourth beep, that's when you start your line. But regular animation is sitting together and doing basically a radio show with a bunch of other actors. And you don't have any of that stuff, the animation is animated to the actor. The animation's not done first. So Jem you're doing ensemble, and then they animate to your voice, which is fun.
Which is so fun, because you're like in a room, and I've said this so many times, it's like Pizzazz is standing over there like flailing her arms and screaming at me, and then I'm like, giving it right back, and you get so much, you get to,
You
it's
have
acting.
something to play off
Yeah, you have
of.
something
You're
to play
actually
off,
doing
because
it.
normally you have to come up with everything yourself in front of a microphone.
Yeah, and
with a
it's
piece of
not,
glass.
look at that green dot, pretend it's a space
Yeah.
thing that's gonna eat your ship, and then,
Right.
yeah.
It's way more fun. Yeah. We used to get in trouble. Wally was so great, but occasionally he would yell at everybody because
I
just
heard
get
that
out of
rumor.
control.
Yeah.
Well, it was Charlie Adler and it was Charlie Adler and Patricia Albright. Those were the two culprits.
Well, that's sometimes the issue is these people, these voice actors are so brilliant
They
that
are.
they just sometimes it goes way off track,
It
and
does.
it's hilariously funny.
And you sit back and enjoy the show,
Right.
but then you're like, oh.
But then you have to.
But then the
finish
director has to
recording in
rein
20
everybody
minutes,
back in, and sometimes it does get a little annoying when people are telling jokes. Or it's brilliant to watch Frank Welker work and do like Garfield, because he'll go off on all kinds of towns, and all of a sudden he'll be doing the voice of Bill Cosby. All of a sudden, where'd Bill Cosby come from? All of a sudden? And he'll go in and go, I'm Charlie, I'm Harry Reasoner on 60 Minutes. And he'll do all these crazy things. Of course, we all think it's hilarious. But she's like, come on, guys, come on. We gotta get back. Yeah.
You had one other question.
You just had to mention something
Oh.
regarding to it.
Yeah.
You just said that about sometimes they would, want that reaction out of you. You talked about Wally once again. And during that interview that I did with him, he had mentioned that he had Louise Dorsey, who was one of the cast members on Judge. Yeah, Engelbert Humperdinck's daughter. So, and she, her leg got caught, her character's leg got caught in some machinery, and she was in pain.
Why don't I remember that episode?
Yeah,
What?
and they were pulling off an evil stunt, and her leg got caught, and the girls were leaving her behind, whatever, but she couldn't get that out, and Wally's like, I don't care if you have to pull your hair and yank it to get that reaction, you're gonna do what you have to do, and she did. In the studio, she was pulling her own hair to get that emotion and that, the scream, and her leg was stuck.
He told a story about Wonder Woman, who was the voice actress who was doing Wonder Woman, just didn't sound heroic enough. So he literally made her stand there with her hands on her hips and her legs, spread, and she'd do all her lines like that. And people don't realize that
posture is important.
It's absolutely 100% important. You're acting in the studio. You're just not on camera. But you're acting. As the Riddler, I'm all hunched over, I'm doing things, spitting and spewing this stuff. You're acting. It's like you're on camera. There's just not a camera in the room, but you're still full on acting. And the posture is absolutely, and the physicality is just as important. You can't fake that stuff. Especially when you're doing video games, you're doing these punches and these leaps and these kicks, you're actually punching and leaving, don't kick the mic stand.
That's the thing,
I found out the hard way.
That's the only way, because
You've got to hear it in the
You can't be like,
yeah. You can't just
yeah.
go, because you have to really, you got to feel it.
The director's job too, which I was always so impressed with Wally, was continuity. So like he had to remember where you left off, like what level of crazy were you, or what tone where you were at, if you needed to do a pickup and that type of thing. And I was always so impressed with that. It's like your brain is insane. Like how do you remember? But yeah.
So, we have about 5 minutes. Any other questions?
Joe?
Yeah, I actually have a question about, I don't need to be mic loud.
Okay, go
But
ahead.
they're taping it.
But, yeah.
For the hashtag show.
Didn't you win something last night at the Ranger thing? Did you win the, sorry to interrupt you.
He won that beard. It's amazing. It's a great
No,
beard.
I was clean shaven yesterday.
Yeah, well, he won that fantastic looking beard.
That's a new one.
It wasn't you, you're an imposter.
No, I didn't win either. No,
Go for it, Joe.
what you were talking about, just like acting in the room. One of the things that comes up, like with the 3D animated movies, a lot more in the recent years, is they're casting like big name actors doing the voice act, and then they are like face rigging and actually using those animations from the voice acting room in the film.
Oh, that's called mocap.
Yeah. Like how, like.
Or performance capture.
Yeah, like how, like, do you have opinions on like how that changes how you would voice act if you know that what you actually do is going to be.
Well, you and I couldn't do that because we have facial hair.
Which.
Yeah, and you have to be clean shaven for that, basically, because they put dots all over your face, and that's not for me. You also have to wear these really tight blue leotard suits that are so tight that they can tell what religion you are. It's not my cup of tea. So I don't audition for any motion capture or performance capture stuff, but I can understand why it's going in that direction. Andy Serkis with the Golem, he performed all that stuff. That was all like him with dots all over his body. And they're doing some of that stuff now for video games in particular. I don't know if they're doing it for any animated films or animated, but sometimes Disney or whatever will bring a camera in like that one. You just set it in the corner and just turn it on.
Yeah.
In the event that the animator sees something in your eye or something on your face that you did that they like, something you did with your lip that you're performing the voiceover, that they can animate in. So that's not a rarity at all. So sometimes there is a camera in the room, but hopefully they don't release that because sometimes we're slobbering. We have stuff coming out our nose, and
It's funny, Disney does that at my job.
Pulling your hair.
Totally different thing.
But I don't know about you, but sometimes some of the more dramatic stuff I've had to do, I've actually physically cried when I've been doing some scene because I'm into it and that's what the character is doing, So it's acting. It's just you don't have the camera crew there and the lights. So
Yeah. That's awesome. Good question, Joe. Look at that.
but if you're gonna do mocap, you gotta shave that beard, dude.
I'm not going.
Don't. It's fantastic.
But Joy, I really do want to see you in the blue suit.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna see that either.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Please do me a favor and give it up for Sam and Wally. Two of the greatest. We're going to get a couple of closing statements from you guys if you have them, but I just want for 1 second to say, you're going to have to indulge me. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. You two are some of the most amazing people I've had a chance to work with, to sit on stage with, and as an aspiring voice actor, I feel like this is for me, this is great, and I love it. So thank you so much.
I heard him say that at every panel he's done, and I just wait.
You're a great MC.
Well, thank you.
You make it
Thank you so much. We have a lot of, I have fun, and I think that's the whole point to this whole.
I think we should do a quick improv as Batman, Robin, and Catwoman.
Oh, I get to be Robin, right?
You get to be Robin. I'll be Batman. You be Robin. You be Catwoman.
Holy improv.
Well, Catwoman, I see you're back in Gotham City again. Robin, what's your feeling about her intentions?
Holy hormones. I don't know, Batman, but it looks like she's up to some diabolical plot.
Are you, Catwoman, up to some diabolical plot?
You know I am. I don't know too much about Catwoman. Isn't this terrible?
She's got us there, Batman.
I'm on the spot.
I have curious stirrings in my utility belt. Robin, I've heard your eyes. You're underage.
Aw, gee whiz, Batman. Can't I have just this one trip down the back pole?
There's one. No kids. Okay. I do like the one Ma Parker episode when Legs Parker, like Shelley Winter's daughter, he says, "Gosh, Batman, her legs look just like Catwoman's." And
Adam smiles, he goes,
Robin, you're growing up, but when crime fighting, it's best to keep your sights raised.
Gosh,
That was all
yes,
sorts of brilliant. I'm sorry.
It really is though.
Bruce. That photos. That was one of the shows that got me started on anything. So yeah, too. And and if you ever need a replacement for Burt Ward in voice acting, just let me know and I'll throw my hat in the ring, Batman.
Yeah, well, I have to talk to Bert about that. I think he's got that all locked up.
Bert's doing pretty good.
He still
being
sounds
Bert.
exactly like
I
he
know,
did.
and I don't want to plug Bert Ward too much, but why not? He's on Crisis of Infinite Earths this year on the CW. So if you watch Arrow and Supergirl, and he's back as Bert. Well, he's back as Bert Ward. He's back as Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I hope he puts the tights on at 70 years old. He won't do that yet. But he's got a really cool character. So,
I doubt he'll put the tights on, but you can keep hoping.
There we go.
Whatever fantasies
I
are
have-
swimming around in the
I
head
have
of
dreams
yours.
and aspirations, but they don't really involve Burt Ward too much.
And they got Kevin playing Bruce Wayne.
Kevin Conroy is in the show too,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's great.
Yeah, it's great.
I should have you at Thriller.
I just wish they would have had Adam do that, because it would have been great to see him in the Ascot one more time at the age of 85 or whatever as Bruce Wayne. That would be fantastic.
They would
Well,
have.
well, since
They
they
would
got
have
Bert,
brought.
I imagine if he was still around, they would have.
Adam would have definitely been in that episode, yeah, based on that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, one more time for our friends here and for Jim.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for keeping pop culture alive with so much heart and love for these properties. It's just
Back
cool
into the
it's the
ocean
coolest
with
thing.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, you guys.
Awesome, guys.